What is up, guys? It's Mateo's 2020 Politics here, and today we are back for another video. So, currently, there's lots and lots of stuff going on in the United States Senate today. So, Donald Trump, Mitch McConnell, and all of his GOP colleagues are essentially at war. So, Donald Trump recently committed a good action, which isn't too common for him to do. So, he proposed that Congress pass a $2,000 stimulus bill. Now, I'm not a partisan hack, so I'm going to state my opinion, which is that's great. Now, personally, I don't believe he's well intentioned. I think he might be just doing this to either A, screw McConnell in the face, didn't mean that to sound dirty, or for his re-election campaign. So yeah, despite the fact that he may not be well intentioned, he may be ill intentioned. It's a good action, because that would benefit Americans. Now, personally, if I were him, I would be under lots of pressure because not only is this $600 stimulus bill inadequate, we're also rushing it. Like, it's right before New Year's, so if you were to push for a $2,000 stimulus check, you have to do it fast because there's just a few days left until it runs out. People could get kicked out of their homes due to rent costs. People can go bankrupt because of medical bills. Hashtag Medicare for all. Hashtag Force the Vote. So he would need to push this, and he does seem to be rushing it. What happened first was that the Republicans proposed an increase in the military budget, and Republicans voted for it, Democrats voted for it. Fun fact, more Democrats voted for it than Republicans. And now Trump is going against it. He's threatening to veto the defense bill, which I think is a pretty good action. Meanwhile, McConnell is trying to push against the $2,000 stimulus bill, and he's trying to push for the defense bill. So what are my personal thoughts here? Do I think Trump is having some sort of change of heart? No, I don't think so. That would be too random. But what I see going on is this. He is showing his true colors, which aren't that bad, actually. So in 2016, Trump ran, just to refresh your memory, on a populist campaign. He was running on an almost center-left campaign in some aspects. He was flanking Hillary to the left on some positions. So, for example, he was proposing that we end the wars, we pull the troops out, we stop committing these war crimes, we give everyone health care, forcing them to do that. He immediately cut taxes for the rich, cut taxes for corporations under the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. And he continued the genocide in Yemen, but now suddenly that he's lost, he is having character development. He is suddenly saying we should halt the increase in military budget. So personally, I just see it as being the case that now that he's lost, he's actually doing what he believes in, which is in a way good. He is trying to not cut, but also not increase the military budget, which is to the left of most Republicans. But guys, don't listen to CNN. The notion that Democrats were the ones that originally were trying to push for $2,000 in the stimulus bill, not true. That's what Nancy Pelosi said. That's what CNN said. They're trying to cover them up. What really happened was this. After the presidential election, Nancy Pelosi, for some reason, lowered the stimulus bill to $600. $600. Not a joke. But yeah, it was Trump. It was Trump who originally pushed for $2,000 stimulus bill. And then Democrats were like, oh, yeah, $2,000 stimulus bill. Yeah, woohoo. We were in favor of this before you. Yeah. It wasn't true. So what happened was that, after Nancy Pelosi wanted to cut the stimulus bill, her Democratic colleagues just shut up about it and went along with it, with the exception of a few progressives like AOC. And then Trump was the first one to say, no, this is not getting passed. I'm going to veto this. We need $2,000. $2,000, not $600, $2,000. And the Democrats went along with it. But Republicans now in Congress are going against it. So right there, guys, don't listen to the whole Democratic framing of, oh yeah, we were the ones who were trying to fight for the American people, but Trump and the Republicans were being stubborn. No, it was the Democrats who actually wanted to cut the bill. Then Trump wanted to raise it. But that's just the way politics works. You as speaker do something that is extremely callous and shows a complete lack of empathy for the people, and then blame it on Republicans. That's just the way it works. You blame it on the other party, whatever you do. I do want to state here, I'm not a Republican. Well, I can't be. I'm too young. I'm 14. I'm not in support of the Republican Party. I'm also not in support of the Democratic Party. I used to be a supporter of them, but in the last 6 months or so, I've come to realize that they are just as bad as the Republican Party. After a while, you realize that both parties have more in common than differences. They both only care about their corporate donors and Wall Street, and stuff like that. They don't actually care about the American people. They can cry all they want about social issues and gay marriage, but that doesn't affect their corporate donors, so of course they're in favor of it. And on November 3rd, I supported Howie Hawkins, the Green Party nominee for president. Now, I can't vote, but technically I'm the one who filled in the ballot. I filled in the sheet. It wrote in his name. So I'm proud to have technically voted for Howie Hawkins because I went against the two-party system. I did not feed into what the media and what the establishment wanted. I decided to vote my conscience. I didn't cave into what the corporate establishment wanted me to do. But yeah, anyways, the $2,000 stimulus bill is not enough. I get it's a good amount of money. It's more than they gave us back in March, but we need to make it recurring. We have to do what Bernie wanted, which is make this recurring. And in addition to this, we also need Medicare for all, now more than ever. So in case you don't know, there is a plan by progressives to pressure 10 progressives into forcing Nancy Pelosi to hold a floor vote on Medicare for all. So, once again, the plan is to make 10 House Democrats, most likely people like AOC, threaten to boycott their vote for speakership unless Pelosi pledges hold a floor vote on Medicare for all, right? That's the plan. Just 10 Democrats, because 10 is the margin of victory the Democrats have over Republicans. So if 10 Democrats were to threaten Nancy Pelosi and say they're not going to vote for her, that would scare her. Because that means that she could lose speakership. I know what you're thinking. Well, Mateo, if that happens, then won't the Republican win? No, that's not on us. That's her fault. She gets to choose what she wants to do. Because right now, she gets to choose between A, deciding to implement Medicare for all, give Americans health care during a pandemic, which has killed 300,000 Americans, or lose speakership. It's on her. It's her choice. We're simply pressuring her. And besides, this is Politics 101. You're supposed to pressure politicians into doing what you want. What is a movement if you're not going to force the higher-ups to implement change? But right now, in the U.S., we have this strange system where somehow we're not allowed to pressure politicians to do what we want, and we just have to give them our vote without getting something in exchange. And I like JFK, but John F. Kennedy kind of ruined this. He kind of caused this issue because he had the famous quote of, "Ask not what our government can do for you, instead what you can do for our government." That's cursed our politics ever since, because now we have this mentality where, oh, it's on us, not on the politicians. That's not true. The politicians have to do what you want. So you guys, forced to vote, this is not radical, this is ordinary in any other country. You're supposed to pressure politicians to do what you want with action, with force, and with movements. That's what you have to do. So, hashtag forced to vote, guys. Tweet it out. Support this movement, because right now we have too many Americans dying from healthcare costs. Even before the pandemic, we had 30,000 Americans dying a year because they couldn't afford their medical bills, or 500,000 going bankrupt due to medical costs. So we need Medicare for all now more than ever. We're in the middle of a pandemic. We need to give Americans healthcare during a public health crisis. That is common sense. We have to push for this. We have to hashtag force to vote. Thank you for watching this, and bye.